Okay, good evening. This is the Village of Vernon Hills Planning and Zoning Commission. We need to start with a roll call.
Chairman Morris,
Here.
Commissioner Baloo,
Present.
Commissioner Cotton,
Here.
Commissioner Hesder,
Here.
Commissioner Heidner, Commissioner Mulcron,
Here.
Commissioner Groen.
Here.
Okay, this evening we have a public hearing, case 1709, an application requesting pursuant to the village ordinances, approval of a special use permit to allow a children's recreational facility, specifically a synthetic ice rink to be known as Rink in the Mall at 122 Hawthorne Center, Unit 532. The property is currently zoned B1 General Business District. Okay, who's going to speak on behalf of the petitioner this evening? Okay, whoever's going to speak or testify needs to come forward at this point.
Good evening, Alina Jatkas.
Kevin Jatkus.
I'm Tamara Asp. I represent Hawthorne Mall. I'm a specialty leasing manager.
Okay, we ask you if you're going to testify, you raise your right hand and swear or affirm that this testimony you're about to give before this commission of the Village of Vernon Hills shall be the truth.
It is.
Okay, the main rule we have is you need to speak from one of the podiums attached to the podium or one of the portable ones laying on it.
Certainly.
All right, so you are on.
Dear board members, thank you for your time and opportunity to present our business idea to you tonight. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Alina and my husband Kevin. We have two boys aged 10 and 13. We lived in Mundelein when our boys were little and spent a lot of time in the area and around the mall in Vernon Hills, entertaining our kids and trying to keep them busy. We were on a constant lookout for places where we can spend time as a family and also have fun. So the idea of some sort of entertainment facility have been growing with us for many years. Our company, Globus Inc., have been in business since 2002. During last 2 years, we've been working on the idea of installation of eco-friendly synthetic ice rink in a local shopping center. We want to present residents of Vernon Hills and customers of Hawthorne Shopping Center, youngsters and adults, with a place where they can spend time all year round. With an attraction like a synthetic ice rink, we will not only offer them a good time, but there will also be a place where they can stay active and get an experience they will not forget. We met with a number of manufacturers of synthetic ice panels in both China and Europe. We now work closely with a company called X-Trace with a manufacturing facility in Spain and a USA affiliate in New Jersey. In today's market, synthetic ice rink, also known as ecological ice made by X-Trace, has the highest gliding effect in the industry. So it's basically the gliding level of X-Trace ice panel is identical to the traditional ice. We're conscious about the environment. The synthetic ice panels we're going to use are eco-friendly, they're 100% recyclable, and help to reduce carbon emissions when used instead of traditional ice. Moreover, synthetic ice installation and upkeep does not require any energy source, so no electricity, no water or fuel. There is no stationary ice rink in Chicago area, but such ice rinks are installed in more than 80 countries around the globe. In 2010, X-Trace installed its ice rink in John Hancock Building during the winter holidays. In 2012, Hotel Peninsula featured such ice rink during Christmas. Recently, Hotel Sheraton used the X-Trace for the hockey fundraising event. And me and my family attended this event and we saw how successful it was. Additionally, in 2016, we visited St. Louis and skated on X-Trace ice rink under the arch. So your grant of the special use permit will allow us to install very first stationary ice rink in the Chicagoland. So now we want to introduce a video to you that will show the ice skate rink that was installed in John Hancock Building first.
Chicago can be pretty problematic and cold in the winter. How do we bring an experience that with all
So I also wanted to point out, this ice rink was installed in 2010. So since then, the company came up with the new technology, so now the plastic is self-lubricating. Instead of applying, like they explained in the video, this lubricant every night, you don't need to do it. The more you skate, the better the gliding effect is. So the second video of the Hotel Peninsula will also show a little bit of installation, how the ice skating is installed. I think we reduced the volume because it got too loud. So it shows, it can be installed outdoors and indoors, it's weatherproof, waterproof. I think it shows a similar size. So we see that the company trusted this manufacturer for many years. So those ice rinks are were installed in Disney, and we'll show the photo slide of different malls, similar facilities around the world that use it. So this was in 2012. So you can see how easily you can skate. And I know my husband tried it, my kids tried it, so they all liked it. So I think we can go into, Kevin will present more of this, the layout of the room and, give you
Good
some more
evening, one more time.
details.
Thanks for Tamara. We had a great space in the second floor across the food court area. The space is about 6,400 square feet. So we designed the space to be most functional, have the traffic, good traffic, and not to create any crowded areas. We placed the ice rink in the middle of the space in between the columns, which is shown in this picture here. The ice rink itself, it's 54 by 27, 24 inches wide, 24 feet wide. The main entrance give a flow to the counter desk, which is similar like a bowling area, for example, what is the shoes area for the, you can get the skates, to return the skates and to pick up the skates, which leads into the changing area. We have an exercise bench designed for two-side seating, so in case we have more people at the same time, which needs to change the shoes or skates, we have extra space, and we have designed a custom built-in cabinet for the storage of the shoes and place the coats. There is extra shelves in case somebody needs to put any shopping bags, and even the skaters or the people who came just to check on how the kids skating or friends. We decided to go with the bleachers for the extra seating too, for the people who doesn't skate. So we have a multiply levels of the seating in order to get the best view in case we need that. So the major traffic is from the entrance to the skate pickup, and then the changing area here, which has a rubber flooring, special designed for the skaters. Once we have the skates put on, we can easily go into the ice rink to skate, and once we're done, we can same way go back on the bench area, get changed, pick up the stuff, and leave the way we came. So that's a main concept what we are planning at this point.
So we want to show.
And maybe, yes, maybe also I'd like to talk a little bit about, we're planning to have two people in a business operating hours, which we want to meet operating hours of the mall. The two people, one person to have in a counter desk area, and then one person to have in the skate rink most of the full time, just in case if anybody needs additional help to skate or, any help in general. Also, one of those can help to putting the skates in case we have to. We have a picture of the skates in the package if we have in front of you. There is we choose the skates, which is really easy to put it on and put it off, so it doesn't have
Lace, no lace.
no laces. So it basically works similar like a skating shoes.
Roller
I-
skating. Roller
you know,
It has a clip, it doesn't have.
Yes,
it
the
doesn't have-
clips is like skiing shoes, right? Like skiing shoes. So it got like 3 clips, so it's easy to put it on to take it off. If there's a younger kids needs to do it, so it's and it's faster in general because I know myself when it's got all this through laces part is like always takes half a time of.
Skating.
Yeah. You wanna add anything?
No, I wanted to show the slideshow of similar facilities like malls that have ice rinks. Maybe a little volume. It had some nice music going.
So we've been looking most of the pictures in the most the skates was used before we had like these blue skates, which was is not too bad, but now we had the new technology, little bit of better skating possibilities, which is we have it in the picture. So it's like the best whatever is in the market now is made in Spain, and we're getting a special shipment. Ordering from them
All the skates.
all the skates for.
But you can also use your own skates if you choose.
Yeah, so this could be the ice rink. If somebody want to bring own skates, we can do that. This can be used with regular hockey skates. There's nothing different from regular skating on ice. It's probably similar size what we are looking at. This may be detail about.
Yeah, so for kids who cannot skate very well, we will have,
Like
just
this
little
picture showing?
toys to support. And both skates and support will be provided with no extra charge. I think it will be a nice addition to the shopping center. So I think it's enough. I mean, you got a concept. So let us know if you have any questions.
How are restrooms handled? Are they part of the mall, or are they in your space?
We are gonna be located right next to food court, so there's a public bathroom right there.
Okay.
And are there temperature requirements for the synthetic ice?
There is no temperature requirement, those are indoor and outdoor, they can sustain the heat.
Can be 100 outside. Can be up to 100 degree.
It's currently in
Celsius under the sun.
Disney, Florida, so.
Are you gonna have lockers? Because you mentioned this would be for families, so if,
Yes.
as one of your uses, if you, if a family comes and if there's a purse or something, they're not gonna wanna leave it out or hanging, so are you gonna have locked, lockers or anything?
We can honestly, we definitely can have a lockers. This not be if you think we should have it, we look more about general storage. So when this changing carriage what we designed it is that the place to put stuff, but it doesn't lock. So if you
Right.
If you recommend us to have a lockers, we definitely can have that.
If I may, one second. In the space itself currently, there are.
You need to speak to the
Sorry.
microphone.
In the space, currently, there are 2 locker rooms from the previous tenant, and if they needed to repurpose those in any way, they would have the freedom to do so. And I do feel that that may be something beneficial, especially for women who carry
Purses
that's
and,
a
or even
great idea.
shopping
constantly.
bags.
Not everyone will need something of that, because sometimes the shoes just sets out, but that would be a very easy fix, because the materials are already in the space, so it would just be a situation of relocating it. And I'm sorry to jump in, but I
Absolutely,
No,
thank you.
I
Yes, and
think
thank
that
you
that
for
is
the idea.
necessary.
Absolutely,
Especially even, you want to encourage shopping.
right.
That's one of the reasons, to have this. And if someone has a shopping bag, it's very easy for someone else to go and return the,
Right. I mean, we will have cameras installed, but definitely just
Okay.
for the peace of mind, absolutely.
Are you going to have age limits? So, for people that skate?
So we were discussing it, and there will be an age limit for kids who cannot be unattended skating. But absolutely, parents can skate with the child under 6, but we will not allow unattended under 12.
Okay,
Under
that was
12.
my question.
Yeah, but, and parents will skate free with the child under 6, who cannot skate, otherwise they will just have to, be there and kind of watch their kids skating. So,
Okay.
absolutely. We have 2 children, and we take it into consideration, the safety, and absolutely.
And you mentioned you're going to have 2 staff members, one at the skate, for better terms, rental,
Yeah.
even though I know it's not an additional charge. And then one is going to be on the ice?
On the ice or skating, if there are many kids, let's say we have many kids who are younger and might need help, so he might be skating around, helping or just making sure they behave if there's a number of teenagers on the ice. Otherwise, we were just thinking, greeting people, kind of welcoming them to the store, showing them around, kind of this general duty of controlling the traffic, let's put it this way. If we're talking about the weekend, he might, she might need to be on the ice, on the days when it's, not that busy. It will just be around, around the area, controlling traffic. And, one of us will always be there too, that's going to be a
So-
3rd person.
So the days that it's busy, you might consider having more
more than-
people?
Yes, and
Yeah,
we'll
I missed that
definitely,
and apologize.
yeah,
Because
holidays,
this too is
weekend.
like a general hours when it's like not too crazy, and we under control. But if it's more, maybe it's 3 or 4 people, we have to be there, so it's
Okay.
all depends.
Just wanted to make sure it's not just 2.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. And we'll have different shifts, absolutely, because of the, the hours, the long hours. We discussed that as well.
Are you concerned about the size of your rink? It's awfully small for a skater. I mean, I did the math, it's like 7% the size of a hockey rink. So, I mean, it seems like you can only go so far and you're gonna have to hit the brakes.
I mean, it's 54 feet long by 25, so it's like typical is like goes 2 by 1 or 2 by 4, so the length is double size from that.
I understand the dimensions, I get the
Right.
dimensions with the length. It just seems you may be limited in size, and then if you get 15 to 20 kids out there, it seems like it would be crowded. That was my only, I mean, if that's what you want to put in there, that's fine. Seemed like it might be a little small.
Yeah.
Your portrait that you flipped around, if you
Yeah.
flip that around again, what size is that rink?
Yeah, that's exactly the size.
That's exactly
Yeah,
the size
that's
you're
exactly
planning.
the
This
size.
was done, the 3D was done from the CAD drawing, so first we did the CAD drawing, and then we did the 3D, so the scale should be pretty accurate. I mean, 54 feet, so this is 20,
So is your intended
It's about like-
market new skaters
You-
versus experienced skaters?
I mean, if experienced skater is wants to skate, we're not gonna say no, but it's definitely will be, we think the kids,
More kids
teenagers, and or
related?
parents with children,
Small children.
yes, smaller children.
But in general, is a public, for skating for the public, public skating, so it's. we
And
don't-
probably just to skate around in a circle.
I guess.
I
One other,
think it's 54 is probably like, maybe a little bit wider than this room, for sure. Because this probably be about 40 feet. So this is like 40 feet from that window to that window.
okay,
And we at 54, so.
All
I
right.
mean, I'm sure if we could put bigger, I don't mind to put bigger, maybe, and still maybe if we can fit it in extra 4 feet or so, because the panels come in 4 feet, so we can add it, but
We
the
just
space
don't-
is,
yeah.
but the space is limited itself, so we don't want, because of the extra 4 feet, make a additional crowd around the ring, kind of, under the pass-through, so.
okay. On your drawing, the entrance,
Right here.
that's the main entrance, where people are going to come in and out?
Yes.
Is there a reason your counter area isn't up by the entrance?
You're talking about this area?
Yeah.
It's actually, yes. So we have the traffic, all this area, if somebody just come in and maybe want to see what is this, what's going on there, and it's a new product, so I assume it's be a lot of people coming maybe just to see what's going on. So we come and stand around here, will make additional crowd, with the counter and the people who is changing to get in and out from this skating rink. This is the reason like basically all this corner here is most of just the people who want to come and skate. So we got the skates, they came to the changing area. We have, the staff showing, here is what is the door, so just go in and out kind of, for the skate. And then the parents, we have option the traffic going around this way, which is, almost 5 feet for the pass-through. So, somebody want to come out and go get a drink or food or anything in a food court, they can do that and without making additional traffic over the skating area.
Okay.
Is your entry wall where the entrance is there, is that all glass or is that filled in?
Yeah, this is all glass actually, so.
Hi, sorry. The area.
Wait, your turn on.
The area, can you hear me? Is that working? This area is glass. Right now, there's a partial wall, meaning that it's not closed off in any way, and it does go from floor to ceiling. What we had anticipated and talked to Globus about was being able to remove those walls so that people could see the activity, see the fun, and be more inviting and do more like holiday-type displays, do more seasonal-type things. We've even talked to them about having Santa's arrival being, by ice and things of that nature. But if they can't see in, they won't be able to, kind of get the sense of really what's going on. Obviously, we don't want to make it appear discotheque, or I know nobody's going to admit their age, but we all went roller skating and had the lights going. But you do want to be able to show the passerbys that there's an inviting atmosphere, that people are having fun, and to come in and check it out, even if maybe they don't skate today, they know that they can come back. But by able to, remove these, temporary type walls that were put up to create like showcases for fashion retail, it'll be much easier, and that's work that we've committed to do, that they don't have to do that work.
Thank you.
I hate to keep jumping in on you guys.
No, thank you.
So what's your business model? It's charged by time, or
Yeah.
how does this work?
Yeah, we were thinking $15 an hour, up to an hour. And, whoever wants to skate more, it will be maybe another additional $5. Once they get in, they need to pay $15, and then maybe $5 for every additional hour.
And each skate, so we have a program, we work together with X-Rays, who is providing the skate rink. And there is that we're going to use the program, which is each skate will have a number. So we can, once we put the time, there is be a screen, the TV with the screen, which will show how long each skate is
And when
skating.
the time is up, it will be flashing, and so they will know they need to get out of the way.
The examples you showed in the slideshow, as well as the two videos. Other than a couple, they all seem to be temporary, kind of seasonal type installations. Other than perhaps Gurney Mills, which has a regular ice rink, and for all practical purposes, a dead part of that mall, where has this really been put into as a permanent fixture in a retail mall?
You've seen those malls, those ice skating rinks that we showed in the mall, they're permanent. They're not temporary or seasonal. They use decorations to make them, like appearing for the holidays. But structures in the malls are, stationary.
Those ones in the common area of the mall were
Yeah.
permanent in those malls?
Yeah. I mean, we can get more information. Those slides were provided to us by X-rays because they
Is-
installed.
No, I've no doubt they installed, but, my question is, under the special use permit, there's a variety of particular findings that the commission has to make to grant a special use permit. And the concern that I have is we're taking a regional retail destination mall and we're putting an additional non-retail location in it. And maybe, and this is apocryphal based upon personal experience, where I've seen malls, retail malls that have non-retail additions, quite candidly, that's a good portent of the death of either that portion or the mall in general. So I'm concerned about this. Does this really meet the special use criteria? And does it really affect in a positive way in terms of what it is? And that's a retail destination mall. And as we know, because it's the retail destination in Vernon Hills, it is a substantial portion of the Vernon Hills tax base in terms of the sales tax which the village gets. So that's the concern I have. It's not with the product, it's not with the concept, it's really more with the location where it's going.
So I think we'll let Tamara speak, but you have Dave & Buster's, you have movie theater, you have trampoline facility that's been there for years. I mean, there was a golf, with a mini golf
Glow
place.
golf.
Yeah. I mean, we've done it. We've been there. There was a pottery place where you
Painted
could-
Penguin.
Yeah.
But you're looking at a lot of things that failed or are gone. You're looking at Dave & Buster's, which is a large national chain that has a substantial food component
But you
also,
also fight with the online shoppers who don't go to the mall that much to shop,
And
So
Painted-
it's,
Painted Penguin did not fail. They went to another Westfield destination, which was Fox Valley Mall. So they just relocated due to.
But you just give a pretty good reason why it failed in Vernon Hills. At Hawthorne, they had to move somewhere else.
They had to move somewhere else due to a redevelopment or a better tenant coming in. That's what Centennial does, or any mall developer, management company, REIT does, is they are in a business and they make money. Centennial is not just somebody who purchases malls and tries to fill it up with crap, for lack of a better term. And we've seen malls in the area that do that, and I don't want to be name calling, but we've all been to the other malls that just put any old flea market type tenant in the mall, and it winds up looking like a flea market, and that's not what we're doing. We're committed to quality. Centennial is very picky on the malls that they buy. They're not going to buy any malls that are not already at a certain standard. Again, they own every mall that they purchase. They operate every mall. They manage every mall. They improve every mall. They make huge investments for improvements. They redevelop every system in every mall, and I know you guys know that. They transform everything into a very unique and different shopping experience, both by retail and by food service that you can get by sit-down restaurants, fast food, and also by entertainment. I think that everybody's read, and I think this is what you're talking about, is that certain malls, and a lot of them are struggling to find retailers that are coming in because there are a lot of retailers that are failing bankruptcy. It happens every day. The big season for filing bankruptcy is right before the holidays and right after the holidays. Either the holidays are going to help them or they're going to seal their death. That's just the way it is. But at the same time, with the generation the way it is, with us overscheduling our kids, I know when my youngest is just like way beyond overscheduled, we're all looking for food to be made for us. We're all looking for fast food or good sit-down food. And the expansion of restaurants and their successes are really, booming. And people are looking for entertainment, something to do, something close to do, because they can't run to the Dells all the time like they used to, or, plan these big family vacations, so they're small little getaways. And yes, Dave & Buster's does have a national chain behind them, but Glow Golf, when they were in, they were a temporary tenant, not a permanent tenant. Painted Penguin went to another mall in Westfield, and they may not have really had that opportunity or choice to stay in the mall based on Westfield, and I can't speak for them, how they operated their management styles. But, I mean, Hawthorne itself, Centennial has put in a lot of money into redevelopment. They brought in all brand-new seating last November, right before the holiday. I know that everybody's probably seen that. We've added the addition of new chillers. That was a very, very expensive addition, but also needed, and it also helps with the environment and saving a lot of dollars for electric. We've switched over to all LED lights within the mall, and that also helps us with our electrical costs and saving environment. We're working with ComEd. I think that everybody saw the press release and the article about us with ComEd, and we received a huge rebate as we're working with everybody. Centennial is committed to being a green company, and they have an initiative in order to stay committed to that and giving back and being responsible for the real estate that they own. H&M has a huge expansion coming up. I'm sure you've seen the permits coming through for that. They're expanding from 14,000 square feet to 24,000 square feet. So that's huge. They're making an investment. They're one of the largest shopping retailer chains because of the disposable fashion. Everybody can afford it, and they stay on point. We have the brand new Hallmark store. Hallmark is opening up this week. So they move from one side of the hallway to the other side. So it'll be a much larger store as well. And then we have several key tenants that have committed to their renewals already early before the end of their lease. So you can see that this is like what we do. We're pretty good at what we do, and none of us at Centennial are very new or newbie people. We all come from huge backgrounds as far as retail management and leasing styles. This type of use would be great for the mall based on everything else that we have going on. We have Dave & Buster's. To me, Dave & Buster's is very loud. I don't participate with it, but also with a movie theater, which is also not retail. And then if you have something, whether it's a pop-up, a temporary, or a permanent, such as like a Painted Penguin or Color Me Mine, which is a new thing which is across the street, you have all these type of different scenarios. People just need something to do. Or mom wants to do something with the kids, or their friends can all go do something while the mom goes shopping. It's all about like kind of one-stop shopping, condensing your time, making sure that you have the best effective use of your time while you're out. This is family-oriented. Nothing that we're asking about is going to be harmful or detrimental to any of the children or to the property in itself. I think it's going to be a very desired destination. We hope that it will definitely bring people in, and being one of the first, being groundbreaking, is definitely going to put Hawthorne kind of back on notice, especially with some of the competition now that we have coming in across the street with Melody Farms. I think it's going to be another addition for us to say, hey, this is why we're different. We're still here. We're your regional mall, and this is why we're staying viable, even though we may have this shiny new thing going in over here. Look what we have over here that they can't get, and we have to kind of keep that going. And again, it may not be a forever situation where they're in that space, but for now, I think it's a very, very good option. It's a very safe option. It's a friendly option for them to have come in, to be able to, fill a space, make it viable, make it not look dark as hard as we try. And you never know who the next big store is that's going to come in. We are going to be doing some expansion and redevelopment, and we'll be bringing in some brand new retailers. And that's a different, department that handles all the big guys, so to speak. But in the meantime, we want to have a mall that people like to be at, that they're comfortable at, and that they can have fun at. If they're not going to, then they're not going to come, no matter how many Apple stores or Swarovskis or Michael Kors that we bring in. If they don't want to be there, there's nothing that we can do.
Can I ask a question? What is the square footage of the mall, the total square footage? Rough guess, if you don't.
1.3 million.
How much is vacant?
Currently, less than 8%.
I guess my point is, if they were moving into an anchor store, I would be more concerned. They're moving into 7,000 square feet. And walk through any mall, whether that's Old Orchard, which is not under a roof, or Woodfield, there is vacant space. None of the retailers in that mall are going to be there next year for sure. We hope they are. We've seen that they die and leave quickly. And I've been on this commission for 17 years or something like that. Westfield did little, in my opinion, for that mall. We waited and waited and waited for them to do something. And, you know, we all can say that we would prefer to have this type of store or that type of store. The point is, when you look at this location, I don't feel it's a prime location that you're going to have a lot of interest in, to be honest with you.
Correct.
So I don't mind this use simply because I'd rather see it than an empty space. If they're gone in 2 years, the limited is gone. We have a laundry list of in the graveyard of companies that were great residents of this mall that are now dark.
Correct.
So, I mean, we have to do something. And I don't believe that 7,000 feet is going to kill them all. I think there's other things, but it sounds like at least the company that owns it now is attempting to do something where, in my opinion, Westfield never did.
And I definitely agree with you, and there are so many things that I truly wish I could speak to you on, but I truly cannot.
Okay, anybody else? Want to add anything?
We're just asking for your consideration. Give us a chance at the village.
I had a question. There was a statement in the package that said you've been in business since 2002, and this is your first ice rink?
Yes.
So what is your business?
A design build company, so it build homes and design, so we have a showroom store in Highland Park. This is where we do all the design. This is one of my designers did all this work. I'm designer myself. And
So you design and build homes, is that what
Yeah.
you said?
So we're not in an entertainment business.
And also we have a very important business, so this is just something what we found interesting, and we see this good opportunity for, for everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, Joe, notices went out, I assume?
Yes.
Okay, since this is a public hearing, does anyone from the public, and I guess it's just you, sir, want to say anything with regard to this?
This is my dad.
Oh, he's still welcome.
He's here to support.
You're still welcome to speak if you wish. Okay, hearing none, we can close the public hearing portion. Any other comments by the commission?
This development would not generate sales tax, correct?
Correct.
Would they generate any kind of revenue?
You know, it depends on they haven't spoken directly in terms of any specific retail sales, whether or not that would be selling. I'd have to verify if there's like a rental tax on skates or something, but.
Is there
I
an
believe there is.
entertainment type tax?
There is an entertainment amusement tax. It
that
probably
apply?
would apply to this location. I don't know the exact percentage that would be. It would be a small amount in terms
So-
of revenue generator.
If I could ask a follow-up question, is the vacant 7,000 square feet generating any revenue for the village?
No.
Would it be unreasonable to have them have a small retail component of gum, candy, pre-packaged drinks or something? I mean, that would be common in like a roller rink or something, or even a plush toy, something of that nature, and that way would generate some sort of tax revenue.
Yeah, like T-shirt, we was thinking like a T-shirts too, like.
Let's
I'm sorry.
stop, let's stop for just a second. I think that burden really is not appropriate in this case.
Okay.
I don't think you should stand there and, no, I don't think you should stand there and say you're gonna do that. That's not the reason why you're here tonight. I just don't think it would generate anything meaningful. It's not worth the effort. If it's convenient and people enjoy it, you could sell it to them. But as far as any meaningful, money generating concept, I don't think it makes any sense at all. These people came here to petition for an ice rink or a synthetic ice rink. They've done that. I think we're grasping at straws if we're looking at anything different.
And I wasn't proposing that, I was questioning whether there was any revenue that would be
And
coming in.
that's an
from-
interesting question indeed.
Okay, anybody else? Okay.
You know, I'm just going to make a statement. I like the concept. I think it's great for little kids. I think a larger real ice rink is probably more intimidating. So I could see this, you know, great for smaller kids with their parents bring them there and have a kids party. I think it's a good idea.
And if I can add, I mean, we've gone to ice skating rinks, you know, in Vernon Hills and Highland Park, and anytime we show up with the kids, there's a hockey game going on, there's a hockey practice, it's not public hours. So it's really hard, you know, to find time to really skate with your kids, other than if you know the schedule and you know you need to show up, you know, at a specific 2 hours time limit they allow for public skating. The skating will always be public. I don't know if professional skaters will come in, probably not, but it will definitely entertain kids and provide fun for the families.
Joe, did the fire department look at this for purposes of the load limit on the rink? They said 20, but I don't know, you know, we have all these limits in terms of how many people can be in different places.
We did provide this to the fire district. We didn't receive any comments from them, though.
Okay, all right.
And they would look at the entire space, they wouldn't just look at the rink, is that, wouldn't they?
They would review the space location and the exact, I mean, type, and, I mean, the schematics they provided certainly provide very good detail about the product that will go there. So they should have a good sense of what load requirements. I mean, the mall in and of itself, I mean, I believe it's 1970s construction that's pretty much all concrete. So feel fairly certain in saying that the load will be able to handle the panels.
No, not so much that, I mean, just, I mean, we had the one comment about the size. I don't personally, I'm not a big skater. Is 20 on that kind of size? Are we talking about bumper bodies?
It depends on what size the people are.
We're not talking about you and me. Okay.
5, 6.
All right, any other comments? All right, we have a standing motion to approve, or recommend approval on this commission. It would be a motion to recommend approval of a special use permit to allow a children's recreational facility to be known as Rink in the Mall at 122 Hawthorne Center, subject to the floor plan layout. This is July 27th. You said that's really the one?
So that plan has a date of September 1st, 2017.
And that's the current one, is that correct? So September 1st, 2017, with conditions of approval, of final approval of plans by the village engineer and building commissioner, compliance with ordinance and standards of the village. I think we also heard that we would not have unattended children less than 12. You're going to consider locked storage, which would be an additional one. And any, I guess, additional comments to the fire department, anyone else in terms of numbers on the ice at any given time? Anything else? Or did I catch the discussion? Okay, we need a second for that, please.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion?
Yeah, I have one comment. 12. Seems like a little old to I mean, people get dropped off at the mall and when they're much younger than 12. So I don't know.
I would say 10.
10.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Or maybe that's something that they can work out with. Does that need to be a condition of this hearing?
I think so.
In past public hearings, I think we have placed restrictions. I think Blast Zone was the most recent one where we, and as well as Gym Spot, that we said for drop-offs, and granted these are standalone buildings, they weren't allowed to have drop-offs below a certain age. Now with a mall, for example, perhaps it's more appropriate to say no child allowed to skate unattended below a certain age, and then that might allow a little bit more of a leeway in terms of if they're present.
That's fine. I just picked 12 because that's what was said.
No,
Right, yeah, I don't.
I agree. I'm bringing it up as a discussion, as a final discussionary item, saying because, Lord, kids are pretty sophisticated at the age of 10 now, so.
They certainly are, and if I may ask, if we could set an age that you're suggesting, but be able to maybe adjust it higher, actually, in the busy times, maybe at holiday, spring break, if needed. As we've seen on social media, I mean, anything could happen at any time, but to be able to regulate it and not always stick to the age that we've set here, if we needed to, just based on this last holiday season, there was an outbreak in a lot of the malls, not ours, but there were, and I don't want to say little girls, but they're, 14, 15, 16-year-old girls, fighting. And so if they needed to set some sort of limit just as a precaution, that they'd be able to be flexible to set that.
If we give a number like that, it would simply be a floor. The operator and the operator of the mall can always change it.
Okay,
But you can go up.
okay,
You just couldn't say, if we put a condition on it that was passed by the village board of 10 or 12, well, we'll now let 8-year-olds in.
okay.
But you can always go up.
So then, let's consider 10.
I agree with that.
No problem.
Okay.
Who seconded it?
I
Can I
did.
drop my 10-year-old now?
Yes.
The additional condition of approval was consider locked storage, and then additional review by the fire district as it pertains to
Number, I guess?
number,
Yeah.
capacity.
Yeah. And no unaccompanied minors less than 10 allowed to skate. Okay. Anybody else?
Yep.
Okay. Just so you understand how I'm going to vote, I think it's a wonderful use. I think it's a very interesting use. Without more concrete information with respect to the mall in a more general sense, I'm going to vote present. I'm not going to vote for or against it, though I think the use is a very interesting use and it's a great, idea. But without knowing and by looking at other, malls, I appreciate your commercial, but that's what it was. Without the concrete that someone asked for, like vacancies and the like, I'm still a little bit, concerned about that. So anybody else? Okay, we need a roll call.
Commissioner Baloo?
Yes.
Commissioner Cotton?
Yes,
Commissioner Hesner?
Yes.
Commissioner Heidner?
Yes.
Commissioner Mulcrone?
Yes.
Commissioner Grog?
Yes.
Chairman Morris?
Present. Okay.
So this was recommended for approval. That recommendation will appear before the village board at the next Tuesday's village board meeting, which will be September 19th. That will take place at the committee of the whole meeting. That is immediately following the village board meeting. So I would recommend arriving probably around 6:45, 6:50. The village board meeting will begin at 7, and then the committee of the whole will follow immediately thereafter.
Should we be prepared to give the same presentation?
I would be prepared, however, it may not be necessary based on the positions of the board. How that process works is I'll provide the recommendations that the Planning and Zoning Commission made, and then there'll be an opportunity for the petitioner to come forward should the village board have any questions.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Anything before we get to minutes?
You want me to do development review now, or wait till after the minutes?
Next, I suppose, sure.
Sure. So right now, we're planning to schedule a public hearing for October 4th for a proposed Aldi's. I've got some architectural elevations I can show everyone this evening, if you like. It'll be located adjacent to the Menards property. Speaking of Menards, they are looking at a spring opening. It's moving full speed ahead. Chase Bank is also moving forward. You may have noticed with Melody Farm, Focus Development has constructed the parking garage. We've also shot some drone video footage that we've put on our village website, so if you're interested in taking a look at that. We also have drone footage of the Cuneo development with Pulte, as well as the Menards development, so if you would want to get a bird's eye view without having to get your car dirty, driving through mud to look at it, you're welcome to take a look, and it's pretty impressive to see kind of what all has been going on. But, so that's moving along. With Melody Farm, Regency has received IDOT approval, so they will begin intersection work this year and have a pretty aggressive time frame as they have, and completing by next August for the intersection work in the lane rewidening. As you're aware, with 300 North Milwaukee with US Health Fest, they have announced that they are pursuing acquisition of Vista West in Waukegan. They have not formally withdrawn their petition in front of the village board, and we are waiting for a written confirmation of that fact. They have provided that verbally. They've also formally in writing advised the property owner of 300 North Milwaukee that they're not pursuing a lease. However, we need to formally receive something from them. We're not sure when we'll receive that. We've reached out to them a number of times. We'll see when we get that. Otherwise, another item that may appear on the October 4th public hearing will be a AAA car center. When that, so it's currently in existence, that's by the Marianos. One of the conditions of approval prohibited overnight truck or car storage. Now, that has not been followed, and that's been raised to our attention by a concerned resident, that cars have been stored there. We've communicated that with the manager of AAA, who's indicated that oftentimes these vehicles are being towed there and overnight, and so it's not something they've had direct control over. And so that's also, according to their manager, it's something that really, for their operations, they feel like they need to allow. So they're requesting that that condition of approval be removed. That requires an amendment to the special use permit, which will then require them to come back before you all at that time. One other item is Nostalgia Homes, which is located right next to the police department building. I believe it's 730 Lakeview. It's between Glacier Ice Arena and the police department. That's a vacant building. They'd like to expand the parking lot. It requires an appearance before the Planning and Zoning Commission, though it's our understanding it does not require a public hearing. And so that is something that will be, because it's an amendment of a site plan. So they will be appearing before the commission at a later date. I believe that's what I got.
Okay. Right. Can I ask a question before you approve minutes?
Sure.
This kind of bite.
Yeah.
These are videotaped. Is the videotape part of the official minutes, or is the only official minutes the written ones that we approve and sign?
It is my understanding that as part of the official record.
Okay, because my concern was that with regard to the behavioral hospital, when they came and testified, they initially testified on the text amendment that it only benefited them, not the public, and we voted them down, but that's not in the minutes. And so my question is, that seems to be kind of salient. Is that something we need to put in the minutes, or can we just rely upon the video record?
I think we need to add that to the minutes, and I've already instructed to make sure that is added. I think because we don't have someone actually transcribing the minutes,
Right.
We've used the video as record of the recording.
Okay. And then similarly, when we talked about the special use permit, this was me again. I asked him, and this went to the credibility, why I voted against it also, about the Illinois Health Facilities Planning Board's comments regarding their financial wherewithal, and basically their answer to everything was, well, the board doesn't know what it's talking about, they're wrong, which went, to a large degree for me, against their credibility, and that's not in the minutes either. So once again, do we have to add that type of thing, or can we just rely upon the tapes?
I'm happy to have it added just for additional in writing. I think, I mean, we are keeping the minutes, or we are keeping the recordings. We're not
recordings.
planning
I guess they're
on
not
getting
taped.
rid of those. Yeah. Show my age too.
Right.
And because I think, because it's not being transcribed, and
Yeah.
I've had that conversation of, do we want these meetings transcribed, and do you hire a court reporter to be here to get all the minutes so it's fully accurate? And because they're not, it's, you know, it's up to our staff to sit down and listen to the meeting. And that can be lengthy, especially for meetings like that. So unfortunately, you know, I think that's why we review the minutes, and we can definitely incorporate those in there.
Okay, great. Anybody else? Okay, so with that, can we approve all 4 of them by acclamation? Unless anyone has any other comments?
But you are adding those.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so subject to those 2 changes. Anybody else? So now we have a standing motion to approve the minutes of April 19th, April 26th, May 1, and June 7, 2017. We need a second.
No second?
Any discussion? We can do that by acclamation. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, those are approved. Anything else before we adjourn?
No, I really think that's it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else going on. Development-wise, if you have any questions of anything else that's going on in town.
Let's,
Go ahead. I do have a
Route 60, when's it going to be done?
Good question. Yeah, it's gonna be a
Well, because, not that corner, not the intersection.
Not the intersection.
The repaving?
It should be wrapping up. I mean, I think it's maybe, I mean, we are approaching the end of the season as well, but, you know, I can find that answer out specifically on the date, and I can let everyone know.
When you get to the corner of 45 and 21, there's Starbucks, but when you go to the building a little further west, there's a pizza place, Giuseppe's, and there's a sushi place. The owner of that building has sold that building to a new owner, but has kept the corner outlot and has blocked it off from parking, which has created an issue with these small businesses at busy times. My question is, that little outlot, what could possibly be put there that would meet our parking requirements? It's small. I don't know if you folks understand,
Yeah,
where
I know.
it's a very small corner that is still owned by the owner that previously owned that building.
Which is Taxman Corporation.
I know, yeah, I didn't know if you wanted me
Oh,
to
yeah.
mention that. It's just odd that's a very strange piece of land that is now blocked off from parking, which I just, it seems odd to me. I don't know what the answer is, but
I will look into that, because I was not aware of that, and that's on me. I didn't know that, but I'll definitely look into that, because
and
there really
businesses
isn't
have
anything
expressed
that,
concern.
yeah, understandably so.
Yeah.
It has been a great overflow parking.
Yes.
And has been utilized, I mean,
We all know the parking challenges with that whole development, so we don't even want to go there. But, yeah, I just won't say anything else.
one thing of note, the Pnc Bank Building. So as you probably noticed, it's being demoed, and pretty much all that's left is the vault. And that'll get out pretty soon, I think. But right now, there is no plans for that. But what the village asked them to do was to demo the building, put seed down, make it a green site. They're going to keep the parking lot, but they're just demoing the footprint. And rather than putting a spec building up, we thought it'd be better just to wait until they have an appropriate tenant. They have talked about, so the same people that are doing the Sky Zone and the little kickers also bought that property. And they've talked about having two separate buildings. They've talked about building with a drive-through. And really what we've told them is, until you have someone lined up in terms of a tenant, we're going to hold off getting that developed. Yes, and we encourage them to do that, because I think it looks, from a staff perspective, I think it looks better than just an empty bank.
Well, no, it absolutely makes sense, because whoever's looking at that parcel to buy it, they would have to take it down anyway. So it's much better.
It's a unique use with a vault
Okay, anybody else? All right, we have a motion to adjourn. We need a second. Any objection? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we're adjourned. Good night.